Have you ever looked up at the night sky and wondered about our place in the universe? It is a question that has echoed through the ages. We ask ourselves where we came from. We wonder where we are going. And perhaps the most profound question of all is, how will it all end? This isn't just a modern curiosity. It is a deep human instinct. Since the dawn of consciousness, we have sought to understand our destiny. We have looked for signs in the stars, in the changing of the seasons, and in the words of prophets. And in our modern world, with all its technology and knowledge, these questions have not faded away. In fact, they seem more urgent than ever before. We see images of conflict, natural disasters, and rapid societal change. It can all feel overwhelming. Many people look at the world around them and feel a sense of unease. They see patterns that seem to be leading somewhere significant. Is this just the natural chaos of human history? Or are we witnessing something more? Are we living in a special time, a pivotal moment that was foretold long ago? This feeling prompts many to look for a map, a guide to help navigate these uncertain times. The Bible in particular is a book that speaks not only of the past, but also of the future. It contains passages that claim to describe the conditions of the world in what it calls the last days. They are detailed descriptions of human behavior, societal shifts, and global events. The question that captivates so many is simple. Are we seeing these prophecies unfold right now, in our own lifetime? The Bible is more than just a collection of historical accounts or moral teachings. For billions of people, it is a living document, a divine revelation. Within its pages are passages that have been studied and debated for centuries. These are the prophecies, parts of the text that seem to speak across time. They talk about kingdoms that will rise and that will fall. They speak of signs in the heavens and signs on the earth. These prophecies about the future are often called eschatology. It's a big word for a simple idea. The study of the end times, found especially in Daniel, Ezekiel, and Revelation, also scattered through the Gospels and letters of the apostles. Jesus himself spoke to his disciples about what to watch for. He described a time of great turmoil and change, a period that would precede a new beginning. These words were not meant to simply scare people. They were intended as a warning, a heads up for future generations. Let's pause and look at the world we live in today. It is a time of incredible contrast. On one hand, we have achieved things that our ancestors could only dream of. Science and technology have exploded. We have mapped the human genome. We have sent probes to the farthest reaches of our solar system. At the same time, our world is filled with deep-seated worries. Alongside progress, we see growing divisions. Something fundamental has shifted in how we relate to one another. Values that once held societies together are fraying. Respect, compassion, shared community. Many biblical prophecies speak of a time when knowledge shall increase. Could this refer to our scientific and technological revolution? The prophets also foretold a time when people's character would change. Lovers of themselves, lovers of money, the love of many would grow cold. As we connect these dots, a startling picture emerges. It's to hold up a mirror to our times using these prophecies. Are we, unknowingly, living out that script? Let's find out together. Let's begin our journey into these ancient texts with a remarkable prophecy. An angel told him to seal up the words of the book until the time of the end. He said, "Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased." For most of human history, the pace of life was slow. Information was precious and rare, copied by hand and accessible only to a small elite. But consider our world today. This is not just a small increase, it is an exponential surge. You can hold a small device in your hand and access the sum of human knowledge. You can learn a new language, take a university course, watch events unfold on the other side of the world in real time. Medical breakthroughs, technological innovations, scientific discoveries happen so fast that it is impossible to keep up. This prophecy from Daniel seems to be describing our modern era with stunning accuracy. This explosion of knowledge is the first key sign we will examine. Let's look again at that prophecy from the book of Daniel. It contained two parts. For thousands of years, the vast majority of people were born, lived, and died within just a few miles. Travel was dangerous, expensive, and incredibly slow. Today, a person can have breakfast on one continent and dinner on another. Run to and fro captures the restless, constant motion of modern life. Our highways are filled with cars. Our skies are crisscrossed with jet streams. This constant movement isn't just physical. It also describes our digital lives. We run to and fro across the internet every day. These are not separate signs. They are two sides of the same coin. They define the modern age, and Daniel suggests mark the time of the end. The Bible's prophecies about the last days are not just about external signs like technology and travel. They also speak of something much deeper, something internal. The Apostle Paul, writing in a letter to his young protege Timothy, gave a very specific and chilling description of what people would be like in the final days. For men will be lovers of themselves, lovers of money, lovers of themselves. This describes a culture of narcissism, where the individual's desires, feelings, and ambitions are placed above all else. The second part, lovers of money, speaks to a society driven by materialism. It predicts a time when the pursuit of wealth and possessions becomes the primary goal in life. The prophecy continues with more descriptions: boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy. It describes a generation that has lost its sense of humility and gratitude. It speaks of a breakdown in respect for authority, both divine and familial. When we look at the tone of public discourse, the breakdown of traditional family structures, and a pervasive sense of entitlement, we have to ask ourselves, are we not seeing the fulfillment of these very words? The prophetic warnings of the Bible paint a picture of the last days that is not only materialistic, but also emotionally cold. It prophesies a time when the very echo of compassion in the human heart begins to fade, replaced by a wall of indifference. 24-hour news exposure can lead to compassion fatigue. We become numb to the suffering of others. This decline is subtle, creeping into our lives almost unnoticed. It can show as a lack of patience, a flash of anger, a quick unthinking judgment. The needs of others become an inconvenience. The feelings of others become an inconvenience. The struggles of others become an inconvenience. As empathy erodes and love grows cold, it is tragically logical that respect for human life itself would begin to diminish. The Bible consistently teaches that human beings are unique, created in the image of God. Every life, from its beginning to its natural end, has inherent value and sanctity. We are now living in an age where this brutality is broadcast into our homes daily. We are confronted with a constant stream of news about senseless violence. At the other end of life's spectrum, discussions around euthanasia and assisted suicide are becoming more common, challenging our traditional understanding of life's intrinsic worth, even in suffering. This brutal disregard for life also manifests in our entertainment. We can virtually participate in acts of extreme violence, becoming desensitized to the sight of blood and death with every click of a button. It represents a fundamental departure from the moral foundations that are meant to protect us from our own worst instincts. When life is cheapened, all other crimes become easier to justify. The Bible's prophecies frequently connect the last days with a state of global turmoil. Jesus himself told his disciples, "You will hear of wars and rumors of wars. Nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom." This conflict is not just between nations, it is also within them. Many societies are more politically and socially polarized than ever before. The rumors of wars are constant, as news outlets speculate daily about the next potential flashpoint, the next border dispute that could erupt into a full-scale conflict. This internal strife, the nation rising against nation within its own borders, cripples societies from the inside, making them vulnerable to both internal collapse and external threats. The peace we experience is often just the period between conflicts, a nervous quiet before the next storm breaks. This global instability is another powerful sign. What we've witnessed is a convergence, a time when all of these signs are appearing at once. It's not just that knowledge is increasing, it's that knowledge is increasing while love is decreasing. It's the simultaneous occurrence of all these signs that makes our present moment so unique and so significant. It's about looking at a detailed, multifaceted portrait painted long ago and recognizing our own face in it. The question is no longer whether the prophecies match our world. The question is, what do we do with this startling recognition? Seeing these signs converge can evoke a range of emotions. They were given as a warning, but also as an invitation. They present humanity with a profound choice. The path of the last days is the path of self-love, materialism, and indifference. It's the easy, downstream current of our culture. But there is another path. It's the path of choosing love in an age of indifference. This is the more difficult path. It's the upstream journey against the powerful currents of our time. We can choose to be a source of warmth in a world growing cold. We can choose to anchor our lives not in the shifting sands of public opinion, but in the timeless rock of faith, hope, and love. The signs show us where the world is going. Our choice is whether we will go with it. While the signs of the times can seem dark and foreboding, the ultimate message of biblical prophecy is not one of doom. It's a message of profound hope. The prophecies of perilous times are also the birth pangs of a new creation. This hope is not a wishful fantasy. It's a firm conviction that God has a plan to redeem and restore His creation. It encourages us to live not in fear but in faithful expectation. Every act of kindness, every moment of forgiveness, every choice for integrity becomes a reflection of the world that is to come. We can choose to be swept away by the current, or we can choose to anchor ourselves in the hope of a promised future. The Bible offers a map of the times we live in, but more importantly, it offers a compass that points toward hope. It points toward love, toward faith, and toward the ultimate promise that a new day is coming. And that makes all the difference.